The legendary Chris Eubank Jr.'s cousin is not as well known or celebrated, but that doesn't make him any less of a boxer in any way. He's going up against the longtime Kosovar German veteran boxer and local hero, Timo Schwarzkopf. But both of them are veterans, and it's a true showdown of longtime players of the sport. Going into their scheduled fight before November 10th, let's take a look. Baden-Württemberg's hero. Despite the fact that Timo Schwarzkopf keeps a remarkably low profile regarding his life, he undoubtedly has a unique story. Schwarzkopf was actually born in the autonomous Serbian region of Kosovo, now an independent state, which in turn used to be part of Yugoslavia. He was born during the tail end of the existence of Yugoslavia, which means life wasn't all that great. It was at the age of 7 that he found himself fleeing the 1998 to 1999 Kosovo War, which was the final stage of the decade-long Yugoslav wars. Like many other children from the region, he went to Germany as a refugee, and that turned out to be where he could start a life. For much of the 2000s, he appears to have lived the life of a regular German schoolchild, and although we can't find the information, it can be assumed that he also started to find interest in boxing during this time. This was, after all, the era of the Klitschko brothers, who fought out of Germany. He moved to the city of Stuttgart in the region of Baden-Württemberg, from where he continues to box and promote fights to this day. Without information on his amateur experiences being available online, we can tell you that he had a good start to his professional career in 2010. It enabled him to continue onwards and maintain a 5-year-long streak of victories, with his third-round TKO victory against Alexei Volkan being notable for being a harsh beatdown. Volkan was knocked down once in the second round and then twice in the third round, leaving him completely unable to continue due to the sheer pain. It was the fight against the then undefeated Swedish boxer Anthony Yajit that finally got him dead in his tracks. As it happens with most professional boxers who succeed in the sport, the first defeat signals a massive drive to improve skills and cover weaknesses drastically. That probably meant Schwarzkopf had to improve his stamina and defenses, as he is known for slowly pacing himself up to eventually launch strong hooks and uppercuts to really hurt the opponent. Either way, a victory against Gianluca Frezza on June 24, 2016, will see him crowned the IBF International Welterweight Champion, marking the pinnacle of his career. But it would appear that after the loss to Chris Van Heerden in 2018, his career slowed down in pace, and it's been a mixed bag of victories and losses since then. His last victory over Miguel Vasquez on February 4, 2023, is commendable and impressive. And that's where we are today with the scheduled Eubank fight. The Eubank family asserts themselves. Everyone knows that the Eubanks are an experienced fighting family, but it seems most people haven't heard much about Harlem Eubank. Growing up, he had around him his uncle Chris Eubank Sr., the father of none other than the British boxing giant, Chris Eubank Jr. Harlem's own father, Simon, was also a local boxing great in their hometown of Brighton in the United Kingdom. However, it took a while for him to find interest in boxing, as he dabbled in karate first. The non-contact nature of the specific style of karate turned him off. However, and in the absence of a suitable full-contact alternative growing up, he went towards the family heritage in the end. In the middle, though, he had a promising youth football career ahead of him, and he had signed up for the local Brighton football team. Boxing, however, was still a means of maintaining and upgrading his fitness for football. I took it up at 11. The team I played for got hammered by Chelsea, but I played quite well. Brighton then signed me on a 4-year contract. Then again, his interest in boxing grew over time, and he also competed in a few amateur bouts. But it came down to one fateful day. On the weekend of one football match, I was meant to be boxing the night before. I got up to London and the kid pulled out after he heard the name. The following day, all the lads in the changing room were asking me all about it. Once the coach heard, he said I couldn't box while I was playing football. And that's when he was released from Brighton. After being released by Brighton at the age of 16, he still continued playing football, but the desire to follow in the footsteps of his dad, uncle, and cousin was becoming more prominent. It was at the age of 18 that he decided to definitively make the decision to quit football and begin training in boxing. He trained at Brighton and Hove ABC under Scott Welch and quickly progressed to become a professional. The amateur route wasn't exactly easy, as according to him. The Eubank name prevented him from reliably having fights arranged, and the judges seemed to have given him a hard time. He recalled, "Firstly, I was getting a bit avoided by opponents, merely because of the name, but refereeing and judging also went against me. One fight, the referee didn't like something I was doing. He said if I moved like that again, he'd disqualify me, and that he didn't care who my uncle and cousin were. Nevertheless, he made it to 33 fights and won 20 of those. His family fighter's DNA and the dedication he was showing gave him a fast track to turning professional at the age of 22. I showed talent, enthusiasm, and a little bit of ability for someone just starting, and I was just pushed into higher level competition almost straight away. His pro career began with the TKO victory against Anton Nakic in 2017, and an early career highlight would come the following year in his fight with Peter Alexandrov. He sent Alexandrov off the mat with a brutal right hook that prevented him from being able to carry the fight any longer. A September 2020 bout against Martin McDonough would prove beyond doubt that Harlem was fast growing to be a seriously challenging fighter, capable of dishing out massive amounts of damage with his hooks. McDonough was thus knocked out with a left hook to the head in the very last round. What made this match all the more exciting was that McDonough was an old rival of his dating back to their amateur days. Winning this impressive victory was a real confidence boost that took Harlem Eubank to score similarly spectacular victories over Sean Dodd and Miguel Cesario-Anton in 2022 and 2023 respectively. And that's where we are today with his latest showdown with Timo Schwarzkopf. Fighters compared. We should start off by stating that Timo Schwarzkopf's age and signs of pending retirement mean that he may not stand much of a chance. Compared to Eubank, he will appear to be very sluggish and slow. Standing 5'6" in comparison to Eubank's 5'8", this difference alone is enough to seal his fate. On top of this, Eubank has shown himself to be very flexible and adaptive in dealing with each opponent. Many of his matches have shown him expertly applying high-damaging power punching with great accuracy, like in his fight against Martin McDonough, while others have shown him to go on the defensive and baiting his opponents into the receiving end of counterpunches. You may very well see him take Schwarzkopf down with the forward-attacking power-punching mode of action owing to his superior reach, height, and speed. Even though Schwarzkopf's defense is decent, it seems unlikely that he'd be able to hold up effectively at the hands of Eubank's relentless assault. Eubank currently stands undefeated, and that's something he liked to maintain at all costs, as it pertains to the standing of his family name and pride for Brighton. In an interview with the Argus, he makes his strong motivation abundantly clear. The preparation is more intense than ever. My body is sore right now. I've been putting myself through it, and I'm excited to bring all that preparation home and put on a show in front of my people in my home city. I've been fighting on the road for a long time, and I've been able to amass enough experience and enough credit to now come back and put on a big show for the Brighton people. On the other hand, Timo Schwarzkopf has been exploring other opportunities within the world of boxing. He's recently accrued some experience as a promoter, and there are some indications that this may turn regular. In that case, he's definitely nearing the end of his professional boxing career. Interestingly, however, he has said in a press conference, "I fully understand how everyone expects this fight to go, buying tickets and watching on television, expecting to see Harlem win in spectacular fashion. But sorry, that's not going to happen. I'm far too experienced, tough, and skillful for Eubank, and will ruin his homecoming." It hints at his pride in being a long-time and highly experienced professional boxer, something that may flare up for what is probably set to be one of his toughest challenges as a boxer. Although chances for him look slim on our end, there would be nothing more inspirational for the former child refugee to snatch such a momentous victory near the end of his boxing career and cement a legacy of respect amongst his fans. Only time will tell. Are you excited to see the younger Eubank go up against an experienced old-timer for the family name? Leave us a like and subscribe if you agree with our assessment of this showdown. We'll see you again when the dust settles on the canvas.